So what we have seen so far is the one-to-one flow that two-way supports. This flow is compatible with OHTTP, but two-way supports a second flow, which is the one-to-many flow. In this flow, a single client or sender communicates with one or more servers. So a single message is encrypted in such a way that many servers or receivers can handle it. This can also be useful where you're still talking to a single server, but you don't know in advance which server you're talking to, which is why we're using it at confident security. Yeah, let's look at how it works. Instead of a regular request sender, you need to create a multi-request sender. This no longer takes in a public key, as we need to pass that in later. And there's no longer an error here. So, and I should be using multi-request sender. This needs to be a multi-request sender, and that's it. I will, in this case, just for convenience, only send the message to a single server, but it will become clear how this applies to to multiple servers. So the request sealer remains the same, at least this part. We seal a plain text request, get a sealed request or a request sealer in response, or as a result, and then the difference begins here. We need to encapsulate a key for each server that we're talking to, each receiver. In this case, we're still just going to be talking to the single server, but you can see how this function can be called multiple times. Now this will give you a so-called encapsulated key, which we'll store in this variable, a response opener func, because we now need to create a new response opener or a different response opener per potential server that responded, and an error. Let's handle that error. Flip to EncapsulateKey. Okay. Yeah, the encapsulated key needs to be provided to the server because that contains the information that it needs to create a cryptographic context to open the response message. And we need to fix how this response opener is handled, but that's a matter of that. Let's go here. We need the encapsulated key, and we need to also have a multi-request receiver, which now takes the encapsulated key. This all remains the same, which is good. Then here we still need to forward the encapsulated key. Okay, that's actually all there is to it. Now in reality, you would probably be doing this several times per receiver. And you will also need to call the right response opener. Let's also just check if this actually works. Yeah, it does. Good. Two-way doesn't communicate or include which, like it has no concept of the identity of a receiver. So it can't know which receiver handled the response. You will need to communicate that and pick the correct response opener func. But yeah, if those don't match, then you will run into decryption errors. But yeah, that's how this flow works. And I think this is probably the last video in this series. So thanks for watching, and have fun using two-way, hopefully. Bye.